My thoughts, um, my thoughts on Sopa and Actica and other legislation bills or suggestions or whatever you want to call them, laws, whatever, over the past year or so. My thoughts on them were and still are the fact that they shouldn't have been even considered. I mean, I understand honestly that a lot. I mean, I understand that the MPAA and the RIAA and other groups out there, Congress and all that, mainly pretty much feel that, people shouldn't be doing what they're doing with torrents and stuff like that. Well, you know what? I completely understand where they're coming from, but the thing is, if you truly didn't want torrent people doing this, you'd be talking to the companies that created the BitTorrents, that created softwares like BitTorrent and stuff like that. You'd be talking to them saying, "Hey, look, you need to get rid of this software because it's wrong. It's against the law kind of deal." But I don't see them getting rid of it. I mean, I do see them in certain areas cracking down, like with ISOHunt.com, one of the torrent sites, cracking down there. I see some Pirates Bays and other places getting cut, getting cracked down on in some areas. But a majority of everything else is still open, including Pirates Bay, including ICO Hunt. There are just certain areas that have been cracked down upon that I have seen. But I can be honest with you, it hasn't been much. It's like if you do a comparison, it's like here's how much has been cracked down on. In my honest opinion, here's as much has been cracked down on, and here's as much as that's still open. This is how much that's still open. So it's like you got to go from. It's like if they really want to crack down, it's like they got to go from this to this. They still got to conquer this. It's like from here, this floor, all the way up to the ceiling, past this light fixture, all the way up to that ceiling, even up into space, if you will. That's basically what it's like. It's like right from the bottom of this floor all the way up until you get into outer space itself, if you will, and reach a satellite. That's how much they still got to go. But if you want a more like, let's have a visual understanding, it's like this much compared to this much. So, but again, I understand that they want to crack down on, those kind of things. But again, you got to look at it from other perspectives. People sometimes, as they put it, in this economy, if you will, as of now, can't really afford to go out and like go to movies and stuff like that. Can't really afford to go out and can't really afford to go out and trying to fix something down here under the chair, but can't really go out and to a movie and see it. They can't go out and really physically buy a movie sometimes because they got bills and mortgages and rents and all that to take care of. So unless they really have a good job and unless they win the Powerball lottery, which some people have already, but the Mega Millions or whatever you call it, people will resort to this kind of stuff because it's easier and it's affordable, mainly because it's free. Now let's not forget they do have a cheap way of going though, and that's iTunes. But iTunes is, more economical there too, because if you just want one song, they give it to you. But sometimes you have to buy the album, and people don't want to do that. And if they want the album just for that song and the other songs, it's like, okay, we'll just go to a torrent site and get it. And again, I understand that's what Sopa and Actico are about, but how they were proposed and how they were looked upon and how they were described basically is a good enough reason to say Sopa and Actica, we're kind of happy to say that they're not in existence right now. They're not even being talked about right now. I mean, there are other means being talked about as we speak, but every time, just like with Sopa and Actica and even Pippa, if you will, every time they're talked about, something comes back to bite them. And what comes back to bite them is the fact that what they're proposing with these bills is not just, as they put it, as I understand, to stop pirating and torrents and all that, but to invade people's privacies. And to me, that's wrong. It's like, okay, if you want to, kind of take care of the whole, hey, let's stop the pirating deal, stop the torrent deals and all that, that's fine. But leave other people's personal information out of it. Leave the computers alone. Leave the IPs alone. Let them have the privacy, but take care of what you got to take care of. So, and again, like I said, there's still stuff out there being proposed. But again, honestly, my thoughts on those proposed at the time and so far shelved and put away for the moment, proposals of Sopa and Actica and Pippa and all that. Again, out of respect, I do understand what they were trying to do, but if you want to really do that, you need to kind of fix it to where you're like, okay, we're not going to invade people's privacies. We're just going to take care of our things and be done with it. But overall, my thoughts were, they shouldn't, you shouldn't really have to come up with that kind of stuff if you could find a better alternative instead of coming out and saying, we'll probably have to check people's privacies and IPs. You don't do that. So, but again, my thoughts are, I understand, but I don't think some of the additions that they wanted were necessary.